A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 30th April 2024. So it's a Tuesday class. Tomorrow is holiday, 1st of May, Labor Day. So don't worry, you all can stay up to maybe follow the whole sessions sharing until the thing ends. Let us compose our mind, develop the faith, Saddha, Virya, then mindfully we shall commence the Puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。阿拉汉萨玛萨布多巴嘎瓦，布当巴嘎วันตังอาภิวาเทมิสุขะโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนะมามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิอาดินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ We shall continue our chanting from Padipa Puja. Ganna sarapadittena dipena tamadang sina tiloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang ganda sambarayuttena dupena hang sugang hina pujaye pujaniyang tang Puja bhajana muttamang Vanna ganda guno petang Etang kasuma santatin Pujayami monindasa Siri pada sarorohe Pujemi bedang kasumena nena Punnena mattena cha hotu mokhang Upang milayati yata idang me Kayo tata yati vinasa bawang Adivase tuno bante Paniyang parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan hatu muttamang Adivase tuno bante Pale parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan hatu muttamang Adivase tuno bante Bojanang parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan hatu muttamang. Now we shall chant the Puja aspiration based on our understanding of the significance of all this Puja offering. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition as soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers. Sharing and transfer of merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now we can pay respect mindfully to Triple Jam. Vedang Pujemi. Dhammang Pujemi. Sanghang Pujemi. Just relax body and mind, maintain some power attention, then we will start our session. Always remember, awareness-based meditation is to develop the inner awareness and use it to meditate. So to be aware is just an awareness before the knowing, before you think, before you perceive. That is, the mind is just aware before the perception, before the knowing. So the fourth support that can enable us to develop it is very important. First, support is relax body and mind, completely relaxed. Just feel yourself completely at ease, relaxed. Physically, mentally, relaxed. No problem, no issue, nothing. Just in a state of relax. Whatever arises, relax into it. Whatever mind state that build up, relax into it. Yeah. So when you feel yourself soothingly relaxed, you feel good, peaceful, relaxed. Yeah. To relax, you don't have to think. You just maintain a state of relaxed body and mind. Then second support is maintain awareness. Just aware inside. Whatever arises, aware. As a human being, we have a physical body with our senses. We have our 6 basic senses. We have the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the tactile, and the brain or the memory, the thought process. So these are the 6 sense bases. When our mind make contact with them, it will trigger off like the physics experiment. The light bulb lights up. The lighting up is like you become conscious. Conscious of what you see, or what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you tactily feel or think. Every moment of consciousness for normal people who has not trained their mind, they will continue with the thinking. Because whenever contact arises, the consciousness will also arise with its content. And within the content, the 7 universal, everything, they will go in. Especially perception through memory. So when you start to perceive through memory, what happens is, the habitual tendency, your memory, your thought process, your habitual thinking, your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, they will cause you to stir your mind, to react to sense experience. That's why you will arise all the mental hindrance, or the duality within life. You tend to either cling on to them, or reject them. That's why every moment of sense experience is accompanied by the usual like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant sensation. These 2 are mental hindrance, and when you do it so often, it becomes habitual. Habitual tendency take over. If you habitually react and stir your mind and create all this mental hindrance, then how can you be peaceful? How can you develop the meditative state? The mental hindrance are mind state that will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. So when you understand this, you will be mindful not to arise anything. So the best way is to maintain awareness. Whatever arises at the respective sense bases, just aware. Finish. Don't even allow the perception to continue with the thinking process or verbalization. So this proliferation of thought or thinking are habitual tendency, and they erupt and create this mental activity or thinking very fast. That's why normal people cannot be in the state of awareness. To maintain awareness, they think a lot. And the mind, because they lack sati, mindfulness, they lack training, wanders off very fast, it becomes heedless very fast. Reason why a lot of people who learn meditation, they tend to have teachers that ask them to use method and technique to anchor the mind. Or they use object of meditation to note or concentrate or focus to keep the mind stay, to allow the mind to stay at the object of meditation. Otherwise it will wander off. So because of that, method, technique, object of meditation, or even verbalization, chanting, everything has become a popular way to hold the mind, to center the mind so that it does not wander off. But this type of training has its limitation. This is still thought-based. If you know how to make use of it, then maybe it helps. Because the object of meditation, take for example the breath, which the Buddha also recommends. He taught the cultivator of the way and the monks and the devotee at that time, anapanasati. Anapana is the in and out breath. Sati is mindfulness. If you develop mindfulness of the in and out breath, then it's correct. It's training your mind to be aware, to be mindful. That type of training is conducive for the meditative understanding. That's why in the Kayanupassana, the four foundations of mindfulness, the first foundation, the first category of cultivation is anapanasati. So when you cultivate anapanasati, is to develop mindfulness of the in and out breath, means to train your mind to be aware, to be mindful. And the mind needs to hold on to something, to be mindful of that thing. So anapanasati has been taught, but because this understanding was not clear to most cultivators of the way, they tend to evolve other type of instruction. Then different teachers start to add different things. Instead of mindfulness of the in and out breath, they say aware of the feeling at the tip of the nostril, or focus at the tip of the nostril, or develop absorption or concentration. So all these instructions starts to come in. Then if you don't develop sati, how can you be mindful and aware? So the purpose of sati is to develop the mind that is tranquil, still, and just aware. So initially you may use an object of meditation to help you develop the sati. Like Kayanupassana, anchor your sati or mindfulness to your bodily movement, kaya. That's why the second category of practice, the Buddha said, after you have developed anapanasati, some form of stability of mindfulness already, you develop the mindfulness of the four postures. Standing aware, sitting aware, walking aware, lying down aware. Then the third category of practice is all the connecting movement, sati sampajana, mindfulness and clear comprehension of every action, every movement in the present moment. So this is related to daily mindfulness, leading to heedfulness in the midst of life. So from the first three categories of practice of Kayanupassana, you will come to understand why sati is so important. So the training of the mind to be aware is very important. In fact, after you have developed the meditative training for some time, you will start to understand this sati can be developed until it becomes very, very subtle, very refined, until the mind becomes very quiet, very still. That's why those who do anapanasati or any object of meditation, you develop mindfulness, you will reach a point where your breath becomes very subtle, like no more breathing, no more object of meditation for you to detect the mindfulness of the breath. Then what happens? Most people, when they reach that state, they don't know what to do and they cannot progress. And some, they were instructed by their teachers to not sitting, touching, to bring back the mind. So if you do that, you will create more thinking. You will not develop the more refined mindfulness or awareness. What you must do is continue to relax, maintain awareness, and let the mind settle down until it becomes very quiet, very still. And that is the training of the mind to stabilize the awareness. After you maintain, you have to stabilize it. That is the third support. When you can stabilize the awareness, then your mind will enter sati. When it enters sati, your mind is in sati, then it becomes very sensitive. All your activity, movement will be like magnified. And later on, even when you come out of your meditation, your kaya activity all like magnified, like your body and mind move as one. Then most of the time you are just aware without thought. So that is supposed to be the understanding. So what I have taught you all, the fourth support, is a easier way to develop it. If you understand that the natural state of mind is already aware, you don't have to try to be aware, then you will know how to develop it. Because that trying is by the thought. When the thought tries to be aware, you will go and note and do a lot of funny things, creating more thought. So what one need to understand is, after relax, maintain awareness, allow the mind to settle down and become very quiet and very still. That is the third support. Stabilize the awareness. Once you can do that, you let the mind enter sati. Then you will understand. Then you will start to experience many things within your mind state. All your thinking, the mundane activity, the daily life type of heedless thinking that you carry over, the habitual thinking and all those things, the emotion, reaction, verbalization, all this thought activity, they will start to slow down because you already know how to develop the mindfulness to be aware with it without allowing the thought to have any more energy to proliferate or continue with the thinking. So when you relax, maintain awareness, the thought will slow down until it becomes very quiet and very still. The moment you can experience that silence, the stillness of mind without thought, without sankhara activity, that is your true mind, your silent mind, your awareness nature within. When you are able to realize that, rejoice, then silent. Don't be excited, just rejoice, then continue to stabilize it by staying silent, don't do anything. Then you can stay at the breath, stay at the breath. If you find that your heart is more conducive, then stay at the heart. Then just relax and maintain awareness. This first three support is good enough for you to develop the sati, the mindfulness, for mind to enter sati, good enough. Then once it's stabilized, use it to meditate, use it to develop wisdom, understanding. That silent mind with inner awareness can see things as they are, can observe silently, can also develop the awakening, understanding or insight into phenomena to realize the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So all this can arise. Then for those who already train their mind, develop the stability of it already, what you can do is you just silence everything and stay at the heart area and let the nature stay there. Then it will start to move on its own. Whatever that awareness nature do, just let it be. Let the nature move on its own. That's why the fourth support is called trust. Trust your awareness nature to do the meditative movement. You do not interfere with the thought process. And you don't create any more thought to interfere with the awareness-based meditation. Just let the awareness nature develop its own activity and movement. When you are patient, a lot of transformation will take place. Then one day, when the conditions are there, everything is already meant to be, then you will detect the gateway to your nature. When you detect, you will know. That form and mind that is in that state will know. A lot of things will happen. Then all your external energy, the yin-yang energy, they will start to melt into that gateway and develop the internal transformation. And whatever that come out of it, after it pass through that gateway to our nature, will be pure energy, pure wisdom energy, without duality. And that one, with its own wisdom and intelligence, will know how to activate whatever that is to be activated within our nature. So that one, only those who have done the stability of mindfulness, stability of awareness, continue with the fourth support. For the rest, the first three support is good enough. Then after that, carry this mind state over into your daily life. Try to be aware most of the time, if not all the time, while you live life. So when you are able to be in that state of sati or awareness, when your mind is under sati, everything you do is in sati, means you are in the state of awareness, heedfulness. That is heedful living with very little or no thought. You only arise a thought when you need to. Then the contemplation, reflection, whatever you want to understand, become very clear, very easy. Okay, you all can silently come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind states that are useful for us to maintain the daily mindfulness while living life. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe in their entirety, let the deities come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhamang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตรปุริสธัมมสารติสัตตเทวามนุสสานังบุตโตภควาติสวากาโตภควตาธัมโมสันติติโกอาคาลิโกเอหิปัสสโกโอปานายิโกปัจจตังเวทิตาโบวิโนหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุชุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆมายาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสยุคานิอัตตปุริสปุกาลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยดักเกเนโยอัญจาลิการะเนโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเขตังโลกาสาติสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you all can be seated. Now we will continue from where we stopped. We are following this book, the wonderful Dhamma Lotus Flower Sutra. We are at page 254, the last paragraph. Verse about unfolding the provisional teaching to reveal the ultimate supreme vehicle teaching. Then the second half is the gods states their understanding and make a dedication in joy. Okay, first half is verse about unfolding the provisional to reveal the ultimate or supreme teaching. At that time, all the gods, wishing to restate their meaning, spoke in verse. So they speak past. In the past, in Varanasi, you turned the Dhamma wheel of the Four Noble Truths, clearly elucidating all Dhammas, and the arising and ceasings of the five aggregates. Now again, you turn the most wondrous, unsurpassed, great wheel of Dhamma. Because this Dhamma is so deep and recondite, few are those who can believe it. So this is the sutta part. Then we go to the commentary. At that time, the gods, the nagas or dragons, and other beings of the Eightfold Assembly or division assembled to listen to the Buddha. They recall that the Buddha first turned the Dhamma wheel of the Four Noble Truths in the deer park Varanasi. Now the Buddha was about to turn the most magnificent and unsurpassed Dhamma wheel again. He was about to set aside the provisional teachings to reveal the ultimate. Forsaking the provisional teachings and forsaking the provisional teachings and revealing the ultimate wisdom. At that particular time, all the gods, the Devas, wishing to restate their meaning, spoke in verse, wishing to further explain and restate their meaning. So Sakra, the Brahmas, and the other gods spoke to the Buddha in verses. So they spoke. In the past, in Varanasi, you turned the Dhamma wheel of the Four Noble Truths, clearly elucidating the Dhamma. So here, before we go into the commentary, I would like to maybe refresh you all. At the last sharing, you remember, we go through this Four Noble Truths and its three turnings. So this Four Noble Truths, like what is mentioned here, by all those who are at the assembly, where they witness what the Buddha taught at that time. When the Buddha first, after his enlightenment, he walked towards that direction where the five ascetics was, and he wanted to introduce this teaching to them. So this teaching was called the first sermon, or Dhamma Chakkappawattana Sutta, the first turning of the Dhamma wheel by the Buddha. And this is what he turned, the Four Noble Truths. So he turned the Dhamma wheel of the Four Noble Truths 3 times, clearly elucidating all Dhammas. So now I will go back to the whiteboard. I still kept the thing, I didn't rub. So you can at least go through it as a revision. So according to the Buddha, when he introduced a provisional teaching like what I explained, the Four Noble Truths and its 3 turning, basically this one is the essence of the Buddha's teaching. It is a full summary of life, or the secret of life, consisting both the mundane and supramundane aspect of life. And these teachings, he called it the Four Noble Truths, because these are truths that can make you noble ones. Noble ones during the time of the Buddha are enlightened beings. That's why they are very noble in all aspects of their life. They are very noble in their understanding. That's why they have right view, right understanding. They have wisdom. Then they are very noble in the way they conduct themselves. Through this right understanding, right view, and wisdom, they will always be able to arise the communication skill of right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, or right way to live their life. Then they also very noble in their understanding of life. That's why they will know how to cultivate all the virtue, the wholesomeness, the wholesome aspect of mind state that give rise to the right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, to enable them to have right communication and right way of living life or conducting themselves in life. Then they will also know how to develop the 4 right effort to constantly purify. So we have gone through the 4 right effort. The first 2 are the right effort to abandon the wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action that they have arisen before they know the Dhamma. Then second right effort is to prevent the arising of this wrong thought, wrong speech, and wrong action. To do that, you need wisdom, you need understanding. That's why the second right effort need mindfulness, awareness, sati, and the initial wisdom. Unless you have them, you cannot prevent the arising of the wrong thought, wrong speech, and wrong action. Then the other 2, third and fourth right effort, they are to cultivate wholesomeness. Whatever wholesome thought, right speech, and right action that are still not in you, you develop the right effort to continuously cultivate them develop them. Then the final right effort is to refine upon all this right thought, right speech, and right action that you have already cultivated until they reach its perfection. So you continuously do this, means you are purifying your understanding or thought process. Through your understanding of the teaching, you will know how to purify your thought. When you can avoid all evil, do good, then you develop the first two advice of the Buddha to take care of karma, then to develop all the wholesomeness, the virtue that will enable you to stabilize and enhance your good karma, your good virtue that translate into wholesome actions, speech, and thought process that can give rise to what we call merits, blessings, and all the good karmic reward or inheritance. So basically, you are very noble in all aspects of life, including having this understanding of importance of sati or mindfulness. That's why under Noble Eightfold Path, the next path factor after right effort is samasati, right mindfulness or awareness within. Then finally, of course, when the awareness stabilizes, there is samadhi, right samadhi. So the embodiment of the Noble Eightfold Path factors make them noble. That's why it's called the Four Noble Truths. Means once you understand this truth, you become noble ones, enlightened ones. That is the beauty and uniqueness of the teaching. Then this Four Noble Truths, like I explained, basically is the full summary of life. It covers the whole of life, including both the mundane and the supramundane aspect. And when we look at it, that's why I shared with you all in the year 1971, I think, when I first saw this Four Noble Truths in the book written by Kesri Dhammananda, our late Chief Reverend at Mahavihara Brickfield Temple. My nature straight away told me, this is so beautiful. No need to search, that's it. Nobody in this universe can come out with this understanding and yet summarize all of life into just Four Noble Truths. And this is so comprehensive and so beautiful. That's why I said, that's it, no need to search. Why did I say that? I explained. The first Noble Truth of dukkha, what is it? The Buddha said, there is this first Noble Truth of dukkha. And he mentioned, these are the 8 conditions when they arise in this world. They are the realities of life and existence. And when they arise, if you don't have the wisdom, when you confront them without understanding, you will suffer. That is the Noble Truth. And what are these 8 realities? These 8 realities of life and existence, they are very beautiful. The first 4, most human beings will never like to look at it when they are young. Where it's talking about birth, the reality of birth, aging or old age, then sickness or injury, and death. 生老病死 in Mandarin. So a lot of young people, when you talk to them about birth, old age, sickness, and death, they will tell you, you say, now don't tell me all this. Now I want to make money, I want to live life, I want to enjoy life. All this, don't tell me, you say. What is there to talk about birth, old age, sickness, and death? But to them, they haven't experienced any difficulty. The moment they are born, they got parents to look after them, and they take things for granted. And when they are young, they are normally healthy. They don't understand what is sickness, disease, old age. And finally, of course, death. So, old age, sickness, and death, together with birth, these are the first four realities. And for us who have gone through life long enough, we will understand the reality can bring about misery if it's not happening the way it's supposed to be. Even birth, not all births are smooth sailing. Then likewise is when you are going through disease and sickness or even injury. It's not easy. Sometimes it can be very traumatic type of diseases, like what we have seen nowadays. Not only heart attack, cancer, HIV, stroke. Then a lot of very fatal diseases. Now you can see everywhere. My wife and my daughter and me were discussing it. You realize in the early days, when we are young, what we see are all the shops selling food in the hawker store, noodle. Then sometimes you see one or two bookshop, then stationery shop, and all the other like the daily need, sundry shop, 杂货店 or 杂货店. Then lately, do you know what you see or not? Of course, at one time, SS2, you see a lot of massage. After massage is what? Bridal. Bridal. Then after bridal, do you notice last time dentist very rare? Now everywhere dentist. Oh. You realize now? And the next one that has become popular is what? You don't know? Cafe is one of them, correct? Then there is some more. Pharmacy, a lot. Because demand. Then the other one, also equally demanding one. Now getting popular one. You know what is it or not? Chiropractic. You realize everywhere got chiropractic. Or what? Chiro. Physio. The other one is physiotherapy or say. There's specialist center. Understand? Then beauty salon and all those things. Then do your fingernail all those things on called what? Manicure. So why are they arising? How come all this arise? Because these are the realities of life and existence. As society evolves, as there is demand, all this will arise. So as far as this first noble truth reality is, it concerns all these things that we are going through in life. And whatever you experience, even whatever era, whatever situation, whatever civilization, they will never be apart from this first 8 reality that the Buddha proclaimed under the first noble truth. That's why this summarizes to us all of the realities of life and existence within the mundane aspect of life. The first 4 is birth, old age, sickness, and death. So when you go through birth, old age, sickness, and death, all the business that we talk about, you have to see them. Unless you die before you need to see them. Understand? You will have to visit some of this, even the bubble and all those things, the saloon. Then nowadays a lot of Mayong is a beauty center. Then after that is career life. We got to come out and work or make a living. Then we go to school, education. Then after that, we encounter life problem. And what are the life problems? That's why the 5th reality, the Buddha said, you will encounter a lot of separation in life. Separation from your loved ones. Separation from your prized possession, your property, your wealth, your whatever that you hold on to dearly. And separation can happen in many ways. Of course, the very obvious one is when you confront death, there is separation. But sometimes relationship failure also lead to separation, misunderstanding, then calamity, nature's disaster, war, riots, accident, kidnapping, all this can lead to separation. Then you also have the next reality when you are with people whom you don't like the bullies, the loan shark, your stepmother or your step-parent, and all those that can make life difficult for you, especially in the career environment. You hear of sexual harassment, you hear of those bosses that are very difficult to deal with. They go by management, by fear and harassment. They put fear in you, they harass you to deliver. So under such working condition, or when you go for job interview, negotiation, when you meet out with people whom you don't like and very difficult, this is what the reality is a suffering will arise. Then the seventh reality will include most of the things that most people actually desire but cannot get. The Buddha said the seventh reality is when things don't go your way, when you cannot get what you want, when your expectations in life are not met, suffering will be the result. You will become miserable, unhappy. Then sometimes you develop unnecessary, what they call deep resentment or hatred, leading to depression. Then sometimes it can also lead to suicidal thought and all those things. Then insomnia and many disease or health-related reasons. So all these are the realities. Then when you undergo very stressful environment, especially when you are studying or when you go through your career life, all this stress and pressure can make you miserable. Then you develop what they call depressive thought. And not only that, it causes so much fear in you, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation. All these are negative tendency, negative mind state or energy field that can lower your immune system and cause you to develop all those type of traumatic disease like cancer and all those things. Because when your immune system go down, due to all this negative thought energy, your cells within will mutate and become cancerous. That's why we need to have right thought, wholesome thought, peaceful thought, calm thought, tranquil, still thought, loving kindness and all those things, compassion, sympathetic joy, happiness. All this to counter the negative tendency. So when we have loving kindness, metta, karuna, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity of mind, and all those beautiful mind states like sincerity, contentment, reverential salutation, faith, all these are very conducive for us to recuperate our physical body's health, especially the cells. That's why to reverse all this negative tendency, you must take care of mind. Because if you understand our human body, 80% is fluid inside our body. So like the scientists, they have already, through research, come to know water sample. The Japanese researcher, the professor, he put sample of water in different places, church, temple, conducive environment, peaceful environment, nature's environment, the crystal come out very beautiful. But you put them in noisy places, polluted places, or you curse that plant or that sample of water. When you put under the microscope and look at it, you realize the crystal all has already, they call it no longer beautiful. It has become like mutated. Then the crystal, like is no longer the beautiful crystal formation. So these are the evidence that we can tap upon to understand. If our body is 80% fluid, if all the thought we arise is negative thought, most of the time, what will happen to you? It will sure create all the mutation of the cell inside you. Understand? Your crystal formation all terrible. All your thoughts are very negative. So this is the beauty of the First Noble Truth. And it is so simple. One Noble Truth cover all of mundane aspect of your life. Then the final summary is the one that you have to meditate to understand. Whatever you think is not related to the first seven, it is definitely covered under the eight. Where the Buddha said, in short, it is due to our Sakaya Ditti, self-delusion, that condition us to grasp and cling onto the five aggregate of form and mind, which is, for our case, the human being. Or, for normal people, the living being. When you grasp onto the five aggregate of form and mind, you suffer. The Pancha Upadana Khandas, grasping aggregate, is the cause of suffering. So these aggregates of grasping is what we call the cause of suffering. So everything that you do that entangle you and cause you suffering has to do with the five aggregate. And what are the five aggregate? The Buddha said, basically, as a human being, you have a physical body. So this physical body has a mind trapped inside. So this one is mind. This one is physical body. So this physical body is the form aspect. Or in Pali, the Buddha called it Rupam. This one, the mind, is called Nama. So the physical form is the first aspect of the five aggregates of form and mind. The first aspect is, as a human being, we have a physical body. This form is the first aggregate. Then the Buddha said, our mind, there are four more aggregates. To understand them, you have to inquire, what can your mind do? The Buddha said, your mind can feel. That's why there is a feeling aggregate, Vedana. Then your mind can perceive, Sanya, perception aggregate. Then your mind can create Sankara. All the mind states, mental intention, mental formation, planning, scheming, everything is here. Then finally, the mind can still do one more thing, apart from feeling, perception, or perceive, and thought activity, and mundane thinking, together with the mind states, everything. He can also become conscious. So the mind can become conscious. Conscious of what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you tactily feel and think. So these four aggregates of mind, together with the form, they become the five aggregates. So 4 plus 1 equals to 5 aggregates. So the Buddha said, if you deludedly cling and grasp onto the 5 aggregates, suffering will be the result. So we can put the test. If you cling onto this physical body, thinking that it's you, what will happen? Do you suffer? Definitely, because you worry about it getting old, getting sick, and die. Because you think this is you. But you never understood that this one go the way of nature. That's why in the teaching, the Buddha said the 5 daily contemplation, you must every day contemplate. that this body of yours is of the nature to grow old, get sick and die. It's never you. Understand now? It goes the way of nature, but this is physical element. So when you reflect on that, then your problem is resolved. If this is not me, then why must I cling on to it, grasp onto it, and worry about it? Do you see the beauty in this understanding or not? If this is not you, life can be very beautiful. I don't have to worry about me getting old, getting sick and die. Means I can live life. I make full use of this body to serve me. For as long as it can serve me well. Of course, you have to have the understanding. You take care of body, body take care of you. Understand? And it lasts longer. Like you maintain a car properly, the car will serve you longer. If you simply go about do things with this body, neglect, do a lot of nonsense in life, like the car, you simply drive red light also cross, find issue with people and fight with people, then this body is like the car, will get into trouble, got summoned, accident, everything will happen, disease, sickness, everything. That's why the way you understand it and how you make use of it is wisdom. Then coming to the aggregates of mind, if you deludedly attach and cling to feeling, perception, activity of mind state, and your consciousness, do you suffer? You inquire, then you check. You definitely suffer. Why? When you think the feeling is you, what will happen to you? Because in the reality of this world, the duality is always there, understand? Feeling, you will tend to cling on to pleasant feeling, good feeling. Unpleasant feeling, negative feeling, you try to reject. So if you attach to feeling, you become vulnerable, understand? Means you will definitely suffer. When certain things happen, if you don't know how to endure, like the Buddha said, well, this is the reality. The form will go the way of nature. You will experience old age, sickness, and death. As you age, your senses fail you, understand? And you will develop this unpleasant feeling. Then the thought will manifest and recall the past. Oh, when I young, I don't have such problem now. How come now my senses are all failing me? I'm so weak. I'm so sick. And I got so much problem. So that is what lack of understanding will create unnecessary attachment that will condition your misery, your suffering. Not knowing that feeling arise and pass away. Feeling come and go. All this aggregate come and go. That's why feeling is not you. If feeling is you, pleasant feeling become unpleasant, did you die? You didn't die. If it's not you, then why you cling on to it? Well, these are reality that happen. If you have injury, disease, you will be in that state. Then like the Buddha said, if the body is sick, don't allow your mind also to be sick. Understand? But the mind can be free. Now, of course, you will experience the uncomfortableness of the physical body going through these realities of aging, sickness, disease, injury, etc. So all this understanding is what you need to develop as understanding. Then when it comes to the aggregate of perception, it's the same. Whatever you perceive can also cause you suffering. If you perceive life in negativity, what happens? You develop a lot of unhappiness. You will have a lot of wrong thoughts. Why this follow like that? Told him already not to do this, he continued to do this. Then when you have people whom you don't like also, you cannot understand what is going on. Then you perceive them in negativity. Then you perceive a lot of things in this world as not right, very wrong. Then blame God. Why God so unfair? Why is the world like that? But you never ask, who caused all this? If you understand the teaching, the Buddha says, there is this law of karma. You reap what you sow. Do good because good, do evil because evil. You plant the seed of evil, you reap the fruit of evil. Then Dhammapada verse 1 and 2. All this is due to your own delusion and ignorance that condition your life to be the way you are. When you have the Dhamma, the wisdom, all this will not arise. Then likewise, Sankhara is the same. Your views, your opinion, your conditioning, your mind states. Where you attach to good mind state and you don't want negative mind state. You want good feeling, good emotion, good state of mind. That's why when you meditate, you look for good meditative state or meditative experience. You don't like the painful and not so conducive type of meditative experience. Like when you cannot settle your mind, you think a lot, you have a lot of restlessness, worry, anxiety, doubt, lack of peace. All these are the mind states that the mundane mind manifests. And they are dependent originating, not intrinsic within your nature. Why can't you be aware of them and understand all this? Then do not be deceived by them. Then you silence your mind so that all these three, feeling, perception, and sankhara, cease, don't arise. Then you are with the pure consciousness without its content. And that is your true mind. That is your true nature, pure awareness. And when you are here, no thought, no feeling, no perception, no thinking, no mental states, everything, you become beautiful. There is no duality, no like and dislike, no pleasant and unpleasant. Everything is just the way it is, beautiful. You experience the true state of the pure mind, which is tranquility, stillness of mind, clarity, peacefulness. And all this is what meditative mind is all about. When you are in the state of meditative inner awareness without thought, you experience the pure consciousness without its content. And this is the one that can see things as they are and meditate and develop. That's why if you attach to all the consciousness that you create through your senses, then you become deluded. If you attach to what you see, you will have problem because you have preference. Then when you don't like what you see, what happens? Anger, fear, worry, anxiety, they will arise. And you create thought and perceive it. You project your thought into the past and the future and create all the unnecessary suffering. Likewise, whatever you hear can make you miserable, makes you lack wisdom. Whatever you smell, taste, you develop aversion, unhappiness. Then whatever you feel, of course, tactile, is a nature's thing. When you are in a cold country, what must you do? You know the temperature is going to be very cold in there. So you bring along your warm clothing. And you do what you have to do. If you forgot or you don't have the means to have them, then the next thing you have to do is what? Endure, understand? But that is the reality. You have to confront it. Man can only do one thing at a time. Either you accept the reality and be at peace and maintain the understanding and endure, or you attach, cling, and become miserable over it. Through what? Wanting things your way. And when you cannot get what you want, you suffer. So these are the reality of the First Noble Truth. The five aggregates of grasping, this is what you are as a person, your personality, your form and mind. If you cannot understand these two things through your meditative training, the pure awareness within, you cannot understand who you are, what you are. And if you cannot understand who you are, what you are, then you cannot understand life. Why? If you cannot understand who you are, what you are, then I ask you the next question. Who is living your life? If you don't even know who the hell is this, then who is living your life? Huh? You got two minds. Which mind is living your life? The mundane mind that is deluded, and heedless. So, understanding who you are, what you are, is to understand the five aggregate. And when you understand that the five aggregate are not what you think, like the Buddha said, the body never you, the feeling, perception, sankhara, and consciousness, they arise and pass away and you didn't die, how can they be you? If they are not you, then why do they arise in you? That is the beauty of the teaching. The complication of this manifestation of the human being. Because we have a karmic nature, understand? Oh, this board don't have a Thursday class only have a. You have a spiritual nature, a karmic nature. Understand? Your karmic nature is the one that manifests the causes and conditions for the form and mind to arise. And through karma, there is a physical body and a mind trapped inside for you to experience the birth process, the karmic process. And within this form and mind, there is a gateway to your nature to access the true mind, the pure awareness nature, to understand who you are, what you are. That's why to understand this form and mind is to understand who are you, what are you, and through this understanding, you develop wisdom not to be deluded by it, not to attach and cling on to this five aggregate of form. Well, this upadana khandhas is a cause of suffering. So if you cannot awaken to this, you cannot understand life and you cannot live life, and you will become forever miserable. Then the next noble truth is the most beautiful one. After you know all these realities of life and existence, which is a noble truth of suffering, the Buddha someone tell you there is a cause behind all this suffering. And what is the cause? Your sakayaditi that condition your grasping, clinging, holding on. And that is what he called craving. You want things your way. You crave to have things, own things, control things. So your possessiveness, your selfishness, your greediness, then your anger, hatred, aversion, envy, jealousy, and your own delusion that carries all the fear, worry, anxiety, the doubt. Well, you believe you exist. The egoic mind, born of sakayaditi, is the one that conditions your grasping to this five aggregate of form and mind. That's why through that you suffer. So if you know the cause of suffering, and you know what suffering is, you can improve on your life, isn't it? You can manage your life better, isn't it? If I know this one is the culprit, then why should I deludedly continue to believe this fellow and grasp and cling and think that the body is me, feeling is me, perception is me, sankhara is me, consciousness is me, anger is me, fear is me? No, they are mind states that arise through your wrong understanding, your wrong view. That's why understanding thought, understanding memory, understanding the mundane mind's activity and movement is what self-knowledge is all about. Without sati, you cannot understand all this. Then not only understanding these two aspects, which is the secret of mundane aspect of life, then the Buddha said in the third noble truth, he said, there is this third noble truth that explains very clearly that suffering may not be. Enlightenment in the here and the now is possible. Cessation of suffering leading to the realization of nibbana is possible. So this is a supramundane aspect of life. You can transcend life. You develop ultimate enlightenment to transcend life. And when you transcend life, then you can be free of all suffering. So this is the realization of nibbana, the unconditioned. Like the Buddha said, if it's not because of the existence of the unconditioned, which is nibbana, escape from the conditioned world is impossible, which is very clear. Okay? So after that, he didn't stop there. No. Well, most people promise you heaven or ultimate enlightenment. but they never tell you how to do it. You understand? He said, yeah, suffering need not be. You can develop realization. But if he don't tell you how, means what? As good as not telling you anything. Understand? But he continued on, fourth noble truth. He said, there is this noble evil path. This is the meditation as taught by the Buddha. This is the one that make you noble ones. The noble quality of an enlightened being. He said, you cultivate this noble evil path, it will lead to the end of all suffering. Means suffering completely cease. As a human being, form and mind with this understanding, when you have the embodiment of this noble evil path cultivated, with the right view, leading to right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, for right effort, samasati and samasamadhi, then you become enlightened. So this enlightenment is not this form and mind enlightened. Of course, conventional reality, you can say, yeah, this form and mind is enlightened. But this one is not you, understand? This one is dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena, karmically conditioned out for you to arise in this world. This is your vehicle and tool. This is not a permanent, unchanging entity. You cannot cling on to it, grasp on it, and say, this is me, this is I. No. That's why with this understanding, you must know what happens is after you meditate and realize this enlightenment, this wisdom that arises is connected to this form and mind. And because it has this wisdom, is no longer deluded by the phenomenal world of consciousness, the thought process and all those things. That's why this one cannot suffer anymore. You understand? Because this wisdom is the one that frees the mind and liberate the mind. So this one is your vehicle and tool. That's why you can live life to the fullest. You can experience all of the pristine wonder and beauty of life because this one can live, understand? But even though not you, but it can go through all the beautiful third phase of Dhamma, Bhaktiveda, to live the life of enlightened being. Why? Because you have this wisdom connected. Once this wisdom is connected, you become very different. Then suffering need not be. You come to this world knowing that this body is not you, and you can make use of it to live life, to experience all of the pristine beauty and wonder of life. Why not? Understand? That's why the Bodhisattva way, when you develop all this understanding, the fourth stage of Bodhi mind development is what? Bodhi mind that renounces samsara. I mean, samsara, the coming is no more problem. Understand? Yeah, you come with this wisdom, every life, you are so beautiful. Like my nature, this segment, it comes so beautiful. Actually, all along, I no need to say until after 89. Of course, after 89 is perfect. But before that, also very beautiful. Where the karmic nature, the spiritual nature, they actually together manifest. And through the cultivation, the understanding, it set forth the causes and conditions for this segment of the form and mind to arise. Like I explained, technically, this segment of my life, I never do anything. My nature just accord and flow, where everything is already set in motion. Through my wisdom, my understanding, the vow, everything. So this is the whole secret of life, both mundane and supramundane. Okay? Can you understand? Sadhu. You can rejoice. Yeah, this is a more complete summary. The last Tuesday one is good, but you don't have the ability to see the whole big picture and summary until I explain again today. 9:46 already. So which means we have to stop soon. Okay, go back to the sharing. I continue a bit more. You see, here he say, in the past in Varanasi, you turn the Dharma wheel of the Four Truths, the Four Noble Truths. and the three turnings. Clearly, the word clearly, elucidating all Dhamma. All Dhamma means what? All about the mundane and the supramundane. That's why this one is beautiful, isn't it? And this is just the preliminary teaching. Do you understand? This is not the supreme vehicle bodhisattva way yet. It has not gone into that nature's teaching yet. It only touched on the initial preliminary teaching about sati, mindfulness. It hasn't gone into the pure awareness nature's cultivation yet. That's why the sainthood way is already very beautiful and it's so complete. But to understand this, you need cultivator of the way who have gone through the supreme vehicle cultivation. Otherwise you cannot understand. Otherwise you are limited to the four truths. You cannot develop such extensive understanding. Okay? Then I will read on. The commentary. Long ago, in the deer park at Varanasi, the world honored one turned the Dhamma wheel 3 times, expounding on the 4 noble truths. When the Buddha taught the 5 bhikkhus or ascetics, the 4 noble truths, he expounded on the characteristics of all phenomena, which include suffering, the cause of arising of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path that leads to the end of all suffering. Of course, here they put along with the 12 links or paticca samuppada, the law of dependent origination, and the arising and ceasing of the 5 aggregate of form and mind. Means when you are mindful and aware, you can see the arising and passing away of the 5 aggregate of form and mind. This one refers to the second aspect. Just now what I explained to you is just the first aspect. First aspect of the 5 aggregates of form and mind is as a human being. You have a physical body and a consciousness trapped inside. Then as we know, the mind has these 4 aggregates: feeling, perception, activity of mind, and consciousness. Means in Pali, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. 4 aggregates. How does a 5th aggregate enters the mind? Through the perception aggregate, understand not? External form you perceive, you bring into the mind. That's why this perception is the one that brings the external form into the mind. So the external form, together with the 4 aggregates of mind, also has its 5 aggregates. And this is what the thought is all about. The content of consciousness go in. Feeling, perception, and sankhara are the content of consciousness. When it go in, it becomes a thought. The manifestation into a thought. Because this pure awareness nature was lost. Then you start to perceive by shrinking your spacious awareness into a small space. Then you input the content of consciousness through your memory, your brain, your accumulated views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system. And this is how you function as a human being with the mundane thought process. Mundane mind, very active. But this is very limited, where you shrink into a small space. Only the content and that space is what you dwell in. That's why you are not able to be aware. You don't have the ability to understand. That's why Krishnamurti says, thought is limited. And because it's limited, it is egoic. So all this can easily be understood. When you have the pure awareness, then you see how it shrinks and become a thought. Then you realize this second aspect of the 5 aggregate of form and mind is what the thought is all about. So when this thought, so you go back to the notes. When this thought arises, it's exactly like what is explained here. You will start to see the arising and ceasing of the 5 aggregates of form and mind. Means this 5 aggregates of form and mind, they keep on arising and passing away. Arising and passing away with every sense experience, every contact. When you are mindful, when you are aware, you see them. Then you realize they are not what you think. The 5 aggregates of form and mind are not a permanent unchanging entity. They arise and they pass away, and they go the way of nature, dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomenon. No contact, no consciousness. No contact, no consciousness, no contact. You need all the causes and conditions to fall into place, then only things arise. That's why ours is a conditioned world, dependent originating world. 一切有为法 means when we live in the conditioned world, everything within the conditioned world is conditioned Dhamma. Without condition, nothing arises. That's the reason why the Buddha say, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. That's how we live in a conditioned world. And these are the causes and conditions. Your karma, everything is like that. How we have our Tuesday class together with the Zoom on the Zoom line. You need all the causes and conditions, the Kayamita to set up all these things. Understand? Then you make the effort to come, like Sui last time explained. You think so easy for Chupolian to arise and come here and break the Tijang Wang Pusa's hand. Not so easy, isn't it? But now she understands it, that's why she can smile. Well, these are the causes and conditions, understand? Meant to be, understand? So that we learn. From that incident we learn, isn't it? The next book I write about it, you can go and read. No, the previous book, we already print out, I'll go and read. Okay, I will finish it off. What are the five aggregates? Now you understand it. The five aggregate is another name for the five skandha. Can you understand what they tell you? If I don't explain all these things, can you understand what this particular commentary is trying to tell you? What are the five aggregates? Ask a very good question here. What is the answer? The five aggregates is another name for the five skandha. The skandha is a Pali word for aggregate. So, no difference. He's not explaining anything. Then later he only mentioned form. But he never explained what is that form. The two aspects he didn't explain. Sense perception. Then he used the third one as cognition. Actually, the cognition should actually belong to the sense perception. The first one should be feeling, I think. Feeling. Form, feeling, cognition, then mental formation. His mental formation is just one small part of Sankhara. The Sankhara is more than mental formation. All of your mind state, mental intention, mental formation, whatever your mind can do, including feeling and perception, like your planning, scheming, cunningness or whatever, they are part of Sankhara. Okay? Then the five skandha represent the truth of suffering. He just tell you this. Suffering arises as a result of aggregation. The truth of aggregation. Actually, it's not aggregation. But these five aggregates, they manifest simultaneously. And they are actually a karmic procedure. Like the first aspect, the karmically conditioned vehicle and tool for living beings to come. For our case, is a human being. This one is a karmically conditioned, the first aspect. Then the second aspect, they are the result of the conditioned world's condition, dependent originating, condition, alright? That's like contact, the paticca samuppada, the dwelling. So upon contact, what happened? That's why I say the dwelling, paticca samuppada, is multi-dimension, it's not single dimension. So all this, you can develop the understanding. So here, the summary should be the five aggregate, when you grasp to it, it is the cause of suffering due to your sakkayaditthi. So the five aggregate represent the truth of suffering is not correct. If it's non-grasping, what happened? To the Arahants, their aggregates are non-grasping. Why? No more delusion. The wisdom connected, understand? So how can you say the 5 aggregates represent the truth of suffering? No. When you grasp onto it, like the Buddha said in the final summary, then suffering will arise. Then suffering arises as a result of aggregation. I don't know what he means by aggregation. When you grasp to it, you call it aggregation. I don't understand the English there. Anyway, you must grasp and cling onto it. Then only suffering arises. Okay, we move on a bit more. The truth of the aggregation of suffering. If suffering comes into being, it can also cease to be. This one is the third noble truth. If it does not come into being, it will not cease to be. You can understand what he's trying to tell you. Whether it comes to be or don't come to be, it will also cease to be. Understand? Whatever arises will cease, isn't it? Here is a conditioned world. Never mind, just ignore it. Otherwise it becomes controversial. It does not come into being, it will not cease to be. Oh, I think what he means is correct. If it does not arise, it doesn't mean that if suffering does not come into being, means he doesn't mean that if there is no suffering, it will not cease to be. Even when you had no suffering, whatever emotion you are, happy or joyful or what, it will also cease to be, isn't it? But here I think what they mean is, if it does not come into being, it does not arise, then it will not cease. It's just like the duality teaching. Imas means sati, idang hoti. Imas means asati. If this does not arise, then if this does not arise, that will cease. When this arises, that arises. When this ceases, that will also cease. Means imas means sati, idang hoti. Imas means asati, idang na hoti. So that is the correct understanding. Okay, now we move on. The aggregate of suffering by afflicted mental states leads to further suffering. After suffering arises, it will soon end. The cessation of suffering. What ceases? Suffering and its aggregate ceases. The cessation of suffering and its aggregation is the truth of the path. Therefore, the Noble Eightfold Path are closely related to the 5 aggregates. You all make your own conclusion. I got no comment because very confusing. The true understanding is what I have explained to you. So that one not easy to understand and explain. That's why it's not easy to develop all the clear understanding. Okay, we have to end. 10 o'clock already. So we mark this page. Okay, straight away we continue into our second session.
Brother Mr. Steele 我刚跟他晚上好。Brother 我 share 一个我 last week 的 experience。上个礼拜二我在听那个就是在上一个礼拜的那个Lotus Sutra 的那个 talk。So Brother 你在 explain 那个Dukkha。Anicca Dukkha Then lead to the Sunyata。然后我在驾车的时候，我在听的时候，哇，很full of joy 哇，整个人听得很清楚每一个的那个 explanations。哇，整个人就是来，你可以听得很 clear 的那个 Dharma， 然后整个人一直在 vibrating， 对，一直整个人一直在 vibrating。但过后我在 recall 的时候，我又不能够 recall 回那个 Dharma。
不要 try to recall because you can give it a try to understand because the understanding is not in memory. Always remember, if you have to hold it on and keep it in the memory to repeat your understanding, then that is not the Sanditiko. Where this Dhamma is Sanditiko can be realized in the here and the now, not as a knowledge in the memory. Knowledge in the memory means not the direct seeing or not the direct awakening and understanding. Because that one is commit to memory. Through knowledge, you try to develop the understanding that you think you know. That one is not the real one.
然后the next 2 days 我又再 continue 的再 repeat 的听，因为那个 talk 里面的 explanation 很
very detailed, very profound, very profound.
然后third days 的时候 morning 我在听的时候，连这个 sentence 很 simple， but 他不是你只是讲that form that does not arise if we do not perceive.
Yeah.
好，这个你在讲这个 sentence， 对，我整个里面就这样动了一下，好，很 deep 的里面就这样动了一下。That day night， 就是Thursday night， 好，就在爸爸苏里的家在 meditate 的时候过后，我就坐在那一边，我就在那个椅子那边，哇，很 sleepy， 那个眼睛一直不能够开。
对，好，我要教你去 meditate 了。
然后我就一直在那边，一直开着眼睛在那边坐住。然后突然间我看到很 deep 的 inside 有一粒东西这样子 arise， 它就慢慢这样 manifest。Then the next moment， 我整个人来 understand 那个 meaning 叫做像，好像把它这整个的东西是没有 word，
没有 word，
没有那，但是你我整个很像我整个 being 来 awaken 住那个像这个字。
very good。
然后过后结束了以后，我就 after the class， 我驾车回去的时候。我忽然间全部明白到完，我讲那个 form 不是像咯，连这个 second aspect 那个 second aspect 的 form and mind 也是像咯，
像
whatever 我们只要一抓住，我们一 perceive 一抓这个像，我们就 dwell inside， 那我全部的那种
understanding 全部 like fall into place，
对 ，then 我可以 feel 到like。我的这个 understanding 完全是不一样
了。
Before that，
这个是 the nature 悟到了的。All of a sudden, it insight into it, it awakened it, it realizes it. Because that statement, actually, you can like see the beauty of it is because you already prepare yourself through your years of cultivation and contemplative stabilize. You remember last year or beginning of the year. End of last year, I think, I told you to stabilize your understanding. Then you went for the retreat. Then I keep on reminding you to stabilize. Once you stabilize your understanding, all this become very like easy to see and awaken to, and it become very penetrative. Like you say, the form, if you don't perceive it, it does not arise. That statement itself can awaken you. It is the mundane mind that perceives through what? Memory, through your conditioning. That's why 那个相就是现出来了咯。That's why 它有几样相，你我相，众生相 ，then 万物相。So the mark of a self cultivating, that one is a delusion. Then the mark of others is also a delusion, because there is he know you, he know me. That's why no mark. Then the mark of life, existence, the Four Noble Truths, all of the mundane expression of creation, they are all not real. That's why all this, they don't exist. So the mark, that's why no mark of a self cultivating, no mark of others, no mark of Dhamma. No mark of existence, no mark of the teaching, everything like the Xing, the Heart Sutta. In true emptiness, there is no Sen Lao Bing Si, no Four Noble Truths, nothing to be attained or whatever. So all these are the understanding of the unconditioned. But within the condition, there are marks. Where duality exists, understand? That's why 你就慢慢悟到了啊，你就会了解了啊 as all this understanding stabilize later on you can express it already. When you can express it means 不错了能够弘法传法了But initially 还是 like not so smooth one 你知道 you understand, but you cannot express it out. But you will laugh, you will smile. And when you hear the truth, you will rejoice. That's why at this stage, you will understand a lot of things. Very good, sadhu.
那时我在驾车的时候，我发现到，那个 understanding 不像以前这样，它是在 talk， 很像是 knowledge wise。对。把这一次，它好像是在 heart 里面。like 你就是知道 ，like 你就是 understand。
The word is 悟 ，that nature 悟到 ，understand it like awaken to it。它 like suddenly awaken on。它是 spontaneous just like。那个时候 I remember the three universal characteristics 我 second last teacher move her hand like that and move like that 我就悟到了 the whole characteristic that nature is like that because he just move her hand he said see arise pass away so just the two movement then 我站在那边整个 nature suddenly like they say after that the whole three characteristic is not a specific three characteristic of a phenomenon. It's the whole existence phenomenal characteristic my nature understand. That's why after that I can see the universal characteristic everywhere in the midst of life and nature. Every moment, every instant, the characteristics are always there. 它就是你的 mundane activity 的 movement 了 and this mundane activity 的 movement 它是因缘法来的 that's why when you are mindful aware everything has its characteristic on the three characteristics very clear 一切有为法如梦幻化 and everything become very clear on that's why after that when you understand already especially for me in 1989 I was ahead of time now. Almost 20 年 ahead of time now. 你怎样去 share? That's why that time nobody can understand. And I just lie low and I didn't really... I hinted to my wife. I hinted to him. So amazing. How come things can be like that? 以前before that awakening and understanding I look at existence life everything is just still the way it is but the moment I awaken and when especially my mind collapse the whole of existence and nature actually everything is still the same but how come the moment my mundane mind collapse and with that wisdom and awakening what I saw was so different That's why I came out with the verse. Truth is everywhere, in the midst of life and nature. Why can't living beings see? For those who see, they always see. Because all of a sudden, like the mundane mind no more, the thing that cloud my nature gone. Then with the wisdom earlier awakened and my nature's spiritual nature's inheritance coming back to me, all of a sudden the whole thing becomes so clear. It's not only 那个悟到那一段那个 mundane mind 也 collapse 掉 the whole thing like 没有那个云没有那个 cloud 没有那个 whatever to obscure, means that nature just shine forth. That's why I remember when I met Yun Chan, he said, "Brother, your Dhamma so good, you go for retreat lah." I don't know how to tell her how to go for retreat. Because that mind is already transformed in that state already. You all go to retreat to have a glimpse of that and to maybe understand what that thing is. But that one now has already like collapsed, the mundane mind collapsed, and that nature has shined forth. means that nature has been with me since 89 until now. That's why sometimes they don't understand. They say, you go for retreat, you progress very fast, it will benefit you. But I just laugh and smile to you and I say, never mind, let things be. So a lot of these things, when it arises, after you have developed the transformation, you will understand it beautifully. Continue.
其实那个时候我一 awaken to 那个相的时候，过后我回去，我一直在我在 record 的时候，我讲哇，它很 beautiful。那个时候我一直不懂要怎样去 describe，因为它是整个好像你整个名就整个
对，
但是又没有 words， 你整个就这样醒过来样子
But later on, when you go and contemplate into it, very beautiful. A lot of things will come out on. 你去 contemplate 的时候它没有 word 更好，因为 it's not the word. 你去 contemplate 的时候the nature will actually let you have the deeper understanding and more beautiful expression of the thing. Then from there, that's why the contemplation very important. That contemplative wisdom is the one that can allow you to share in your own way. Because this is your nature's contemplative wisdom now. That just like I explained to you all, I think, in the coming book, I think, I mentioned a few things about the teaching. I say, these are the pointers that you all have to reflect and contemplate. And this can transform your understanding to a very, very great extent. You know why I can understand all this. How to see form, how to see the unreality of form, how to see beyond form, then mind and all those things. Then all the contemplative wisdom that I share with you, this was what, after my awakening, transformation, I reflected and contemplated. Then I realized this is how the Dhamma can be explained and taught to people. Understand? That's why I had to find my own words, my own terminology to describe it. Because when I share all this, learn to see form, the unreality of form, and how to see beyond form. If you cannot see the unreality of form, you cannot see beyond form. But then in between, sometimes people use their knowledge and they go and make comment. I told you all before last time when I was teaching in Vipassana, they got hold of my transcript. Then they all go and discuss. Then they say, how can you say form is unreal? He said, the unreality of form. You know, he said, one of the Abhidhamma say, one of the ultimate is form, he said. You meet this type of people, you better don't talk to them. But luckily, I don't have to meet. Yeah, I was told in the meeting, there was a great hoo-ha about that thing. Then those people who were together with me, they cannot reply. Because at that time, they cannot have the understanding. If they have the understanding, then they can reply. Because this form is not what the Buddha meant in the Abhidhamma. The Abhidhamma talk about the four ultimate. The four ultimate means these are the fundamental building block of his teaching. That's why the last one is Nibbana. And the first one is form. Then, of course, I think the Chitta and all those things. So, whatever it is, just like the scientists, they initially thought atom is the smallest indivisible particle. Then later on they discover through study that within the atom there are still nucleus, electron, and now meson, a lot of funny particles inside there, because they cannot understand. So during the time of the Buddha, what he want to explain is, he simplify all this. That's why the whole physical body, he break into four elements. Solidity, fluid or cohesion, then wind element, and the heat element. Finish, this four. Whereas scientists now, they can break down into so many elements, understand? But we are not interested in all this scientific thing. He wants to develop what they call the four ultimates. So form is one of the ultimate. Where form is trapped energy, actually. It's one of the ultimate. So anyway, that one is not important. We just, for sharing and discussion, I mention it because people cannot understand. So when you develop all this contemplative wisdom, when you share it, people cannot understand, don't worry. Let things be. They are just the way they are because they cannot understand what is beyond them. So even the Buddha under his teaching make it very clear, very clear. Rupang is what? Form is right. Rupang anicang. Rupang anatta. Understand? How can you say Buddha is wrong? Form is impermanent. Form is non-self. It's not non-self. Form is not a permanent, unchanging entity. Understand? But you want to quote Abhidhamma and say it's the ultimate. Ultimate, the meaning is different. That's why don't quote the Buddha's name, words, without understanding. Otherwise, very dangerous. You continue.
Then 过后呢，我在第二天我又再 repeat 听回那个Sutra 的那一天的那个 sharing，
那一段的 sharing，
哇，整个 sharing 啊，不是用你的，那你从那个Anicca Dukkha Anatta 到 Sunyata， 然后再 explain 到那个 form 的时候，对，哇，这整个的那个 sharing， 哇，我里面都一直在 vibrating， 哇，来，你就是明白
，the understanding and the joy， the fasting， very strong，
哇，until 那个手的毛孔全部打开来，那个毛全部站起来，我在家时候我就拿我手全看，我讲哇，我全部
杀掉，
你整个人呐，我就你就听到那整不是你整个的那个 sharing 的那个 explanation very profound， 就是整个人的一次哇很 rejoice 啊，然后我就觉得我像对这个像这个东西很像
you penetrate very deep， you penetrate very deep，
但是我又讲不出，但是我又知道是什么东西。
对，你不用讲出来的，因为 that one is not memory one， it's not a knowledge， but the nature once understand, it will understand. When 好像广清老和尚讲when you meet a situation you will understand how to act on. You will know the unreality everything then it cannot deceive you anymore already. Then you also must make a note. You remember before I start this 2024 Hatsuta class for the retreat one to prepare you on, I say because the Kayamita force, now the sharing will be different again. That's why you realize now the sharing actually from my same Hatsuta no. Last time I didn't go so deep and share all this because at that time hardly anybody can understand. But now the sharing is very different. And all this arise is because the Kayamita force, 好像 Alicia 讲的，时间到了 it wants to move already. And I predicted it last year. The Kayamita force is going to be stronger and stronger. But the way we evolve it through the Kayamita fund and the sharing and all this thing, and because of my task, my nature's task, this life, this teaching has to come up. Understand? And mainly because of the website, together with the website, the Bodhisattva way and the Supreme Vehicle teaching all wants to come up. That's why now this Lotus Sutra is the supreme teaching. That's why from this one, a lot of the real teaching will come up. Then now when I share this one, it's just like during the Buddha's time. You remember just now the opening sutta? They all rejoice, they recall at Varanasi, before Sakyamuni Buddha share this. Remember? he was teaching the Four Noble Truths and his three turning, and they were explained so lucidly and so clearly, just like how I explained this Four Noble Truths to you all. At that time when I teach the preliminary teaching, you all don't have the understanding for this. I just give you a hint, secret of life, essence of the Buddha's teaching, but I never go deep into it. Now I can go deep into it. It's just like those who understand what the Buddha teach at that time, is to them is so lucid and so clear and so beautiful. But then he can only explain it again when he shared this on himself. That's why the causes and condition has to be. When you all are ready for this teaching, then this one can take its understanding to another level. Then every round, the sharing of the Hsuan is different again, depend on your understanding, Kayamita's understanding and evolution. That's why all this 他自己 manifest on. My nature don't plan anything. If there is no condition, nothing arises. If there is condition, things will arise. That's why you realize now that sharing also become very different. Even a lot of new people also, they can understand so fast, they can benefit so fast. Very good. Sadhu. Continue.
Yeah, 不是就你最近的这些Dharma 的 sharing 都很beautiful 哈。那这个 understanding 是真的很重要，所以我们一直去 repeating 的，一直去听，
对，要去听，
对，一直要去听，听到你很熟。Actually 有时你听了，你以为你知道，其实是不知道，
还不知道的。
对，你是要去 repeat， 一直去 repeating 的，一直去听，
对
And then 不是你在每一次的 talk 里面，我都是 same 的 topic， 但是你的 explanation 是 from different
angle， you different 了的
对。
还有一样I have to share this one for you. You remember my last talk before the coming book? The coming book. I told you all because once I link all those teachings in the sharing, now you understand there is only one teaching. They are all linked. That's why I give you all the example. You remember? Every time you develop understanding, it's like you got a key to open a Dhamma door. Understand? Then when you open the Dhamma door, you go in, then you will understand the wisdom within that Dhamma door, like the treasure inside there. Then that one will enable you to open up the subsequent Dhamma door. Understand? Other Dhamma door. Before you have this wisdom and understanding, initial wisdom, you cannot open the other one. You are not ready. Understand? Then when you have the contemplative wisdom cultivation until most of the Dhamma door you can open already, then you realize the whole teaching is linked. By then, means you have the master key already. Understand? Any door also you can go in already. That is the beauty of the Buddha Dhamma. It's door by door. Well, I realize you cannot hurry on. Like I said, last time I can tell you, not like Kung Fu. You must teach until 70%, 80% and keep 20%. No need one. No matter how much I teach, you cannot catch up means you cannot catch up. Because this one take time. You need to go through all the... And what I have gone through since 89 until the year 2004, when I come out to share, that 15 years to catch up, you think so easy. To understand awareness-based meditation also take you so long, understand? Then to locate the gateway, even more long. Then this one, since 89, located the gateway, went in the transformation, the mundane mind collapsed until now, almost 30 over years. You think can so easy come to the understanding. It cannot, because this is not knowledge, understand? This is not a PhD subject where you go and study, then everything will be... No, this one is not only spiritual, abstract, and it has its movement, understand? It has its, like cultivation procedure. Like the awareness nature. If your sainthood way also haven't stabilized, how can you go to the pure awareness nature there and cultivate and transform with the gateway, everything? Then from there, the movement, the activity, the understanding inside You have to go through all the Dhamma door until you develop the clear understanding. When you are third stage of body mind development, when your body mind can illuminate that nature, 那个时候就差不多了。You won't fall back already. You won't fall back, which means you can link the teaching already. You have understood a lot of things, but that nature shine forth, and that nature is very different now. But that nature is not the mundane mind anymore. That nature is capable of a lot of understanding. That's why I told you all that nature has its beauty and amazing nature. It's not a thing, but when you are there, when you can illuminate it and be with it, that nature transform your understanding. It like, that is the one that gives you the direct seeing, the wisdom, everything. And that nature, as you transform, the trust go in, a lot of things happen. Then the transformation, a lot, unless there is condition, I cannot share much. But all this will happen. That's why I say, no matter how you catch up, unless your past is very exceptional, you have cultivated beyond my nature, then different. Then of course, possible. If without that, it's not easy. All this has its own causes and conditions. So 那一段你了解了，你就 continue to stabilize all this understanding, contemplate, then develop all this transformation. 它越来越不一样了。Then later on, 你如果能够 develop 到那个 gateway very stable, then 不久once you develop the gateway 不久maybe it will take you longer. For me, after I detected the gateway, 9 months, my mundane mind collapsed. But for you, I don't know. Maybe it will take you longer. But don't worry. Even it take long, also no problem. Well, after you detected the gateway, the whole cultivation become different. Well, that one is using trust, the fourth support. Let it go in. Let it transform inside. Let the nature do its own activity and transformation. And then 你慢慢就了解了的。That's why how, like Po Cheng last time described, well, this cultivation is very strange. You do it correctly, everything fall into place. Everything that is understood is like that one. You can use whatever words or language to describe it, but the understanding follow this cultivation. That is the beauty of the Supreme Vehicle. And the Supreme Vehicle 很多东西的比那个仙会位的多到不得了 cannot count. But the sainthood way, the initial preliminary provisional teaching is just what I should say is the understanding of the general understanding of Dhamma within the conditioned world, and the unconditioned only they touch it a bit only. But the Supreme Vehicle one is to go into the unconditioned, that nature, and develop the clear penetrative wisdom and understanding until its perfection. You just imagine the big difference. 那些 sainthood way haven't even come to the pure awareness nature. They only have a glimpse of the cessation. They know that this thing can cease through wisdom, then become Arahant. But beyond that, you need to locate the awareness nature within, and from there locate the gateway to go in and develop the transformation and cultivation through that nature. So that is the big difference. Okay, summarize. Conclude. Just conclude. Or to be continued 也可以。
就觉得说我们的这个 Dhamma Sharing， 我们的 Dhamma Class evolve 到今天真的是很 beautiful。
对very amazing. For it to happen until at this day, I used to tell Sui, you really amazed. All these things has happened. Even in the book to come, you read through, inside there it was written. And yet we have achieved it and realized all this. That's why the website, a lot of things inside there. 那个 website 真的吗？真正的宝啊！sadhu sadhu sadhu
就是 brother 你的 sharing 真的是很多的那个宝在里面。
对
你尤其你现在你的每一个的那个 sharing 都是很 deeper 的，很 detail 的，能够帮助我们更快的去 stabilize 我们的那个
去了解去悟道。Because now the explanation can go this deep is because you all are ready and most of you can follow. Do you understand? I tell you, this type of teaching you go and teach the normal practitioner, the Buddhists. They are working one. I tell you, they don't know what we all sharing one. They cannot understand one. Although some of the new people, where they have been listening to my YouTube, they can follow to a certain extent. But most of them, even I think Brother Kwa Penang and Singapore, they tell me, but they will let me listen more, let me stabilize first, and then I will share all those things. So they themselves know this is beautiful, especially the Brother Kwa from Penang. He is here, I think. He spotted our recent retreat last year at Cameron Highland. The 8 days or 9 days, the 8 days of sharing. He spent 2-3 months keep on listening and listening until he developed a lot of joy and understanding. That's why now he is very different. He knows thought base doesn't lead to awakening. He need awareness base. That's why even Cindy Chong, also the new girl from Subang, attentively listening. And she logged in very early, 10-15 minutes before time. These are the serious people, and Kwa also coming very fast. Then after that was Amy there. That's why all this is going to actually give rise to a lot of faith and understanding to other Kaya Metta. We can be understood and awakened to and realize. And this one is a living Dhamma, like we always share. It's not a theoretical Dhamma. 很好 sadhu. So to be continued. Sadhu, sadhu. Let's rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. When nature really rejoice, when people can develop such understanding, it's beautiful. So don't have to feel like you miss the sasana when the Buddha was around. No need to worry about it. As long as you have faith, you develop the cultivation, you can go through all those awakening and understanding even more amazingly. Because this type of cultivation is different from the sainthood way. And this one can transform the living being, really, and awaken them. Then when you have the understanding, you become so different. And the consciousness also become very different. Okay, so let us share merits. Akasata ca bhumata deva naga mahindika punyam tang anumoditva cirang rakantu loka sasana ettavata camehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo devo wasatukalena sasa sampati hetu ca vito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko imena punyang kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yawa nivana patiya sadhu 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 Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Guan Yin Bodhisattva, and the worthy ones. Then we shall end. Thank you. Sadhu.